A massive hole suddenly appeared on a remote island. This hole came to be known as the Abyss. Despite the danger, countless people began descending into the abyss. These people came to be known as cave raiders. The deeper explorers go, the more dangerous the creatures they encounter. But if anyone tries to come back up, they have to face something called the curse of the abyss. At the start of our story, we see Riko exploring the first layer of the abyss along with her partner, Reg, collecting relics. The two of them explore the whole area together, but later split up to work in different directions. While exploring a cave, Riko manages to find quite a few relics. She loads all of them onto her back and heads off to find Reg. Man, this is heavy. I need Reg's help. I can't carry this alone. As she walks a little further, Riko spots Reg lying unconscious on the ground below, but a massive monster called the Crimson Splitjaw is slowly closing in on him, ready to devour him. To wake Reg up before it's too late, Riko blows her whistle. This draws the monster's attention away from Reg and onto Riko instead. Riko starts running for her life to escape. The Splitjaw lashes out at her with its tail, and her relic bag goes flying, falling to the ground. Riko doesn't care about the bag. She just keeps running to save herself. But after running a little further, she hits a dead end. In front of her is the Crimson Splitjaw, and below her is a deep chasm. Just then, a powerful blast of energy shoots out from between the trees. The attack strikes the Splitjaw directly, and the creature flees the scene. Riko is saved. As she investigates where the blast came from, Riko arrives at the spot and finds a strange robotic boy lying there, unconscious. Who is this? Was he the one who fired that attack? Riko decides to take the robot boy with her. On the way, she runs into Reg, who asks her, "Hey, who's this? Where'd you pick this guy up?" "I don't know. I found him lying on the way here. And you know what? He's the one who saved both our lives." They bring the robot boy back to 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐄 and 𝐍𝐻𝐈𝐿, where they all live. Reg and his friends come up with a small plan. Shiggy deliberately drops his book on the floor, which draws the director's attention toward him, and using this distraction, they sneak the robot boy inside. The next day in class, the director is giving all the kids a lecture, telling them they should feel grateful for receiving their whistles. After that, we see instructor Zero asking Riko about her relics and the incident where Reg was saved. "A monster came after us, but I gave it a good beating. Actually, I want to go even deeper into the abyss now. I want to gain as much experience as possible so I can become the best cave raider."
Riko, your abilities aren't there yet. Even from just 400 meters, your body already starts breaking down on the way back up. Hearing this, Riko gets emotional. Just then, her friends come over and start asking her about the robot boy, what they should do with him. That night, Riko and all her friends try to wake the robot boy up. They give him a high voltage shock. The shock actually seems to fix him. He opens his eyes and looks around in confusion. Where am I? Riko and her friends tell him that he's currently at the orphanage and that everyone here is training to become future cave raiders. Riko asks him a bunch of questions. "Hey, who are you? Where did you come from?" But the robot boy can't remember anything at all. He doesn't even know who he himself is. "Quick, hide him. Master Zero is about to come here. I think he's gotten suspicious." Just then, Zero arrives to inspect the room, but the robot boy uses his extendable arms and hides himself in a spot where Zero can't spot him. Zero leaves without noticing anything. Just what am I anyway? Who am I? Riko comes back. "From today, your name will be Reg." Riko takes Reg outside with her up to a high spot. From here, their entire village is visible, a place called Sea of Earth. This whole village is built around the abyss. Just then, the sun starts to rise and the whole town fills with light, looking incredibly beautiful. "Isn't all this beautiful? I've never seen anything like you before. I think you must have come from the very lowest layer of the abyss." But Reg just kept staring at the abyss the whole time, stunned by its sheer scale. The next day, Riko and all her friends go check the records kept at 𝐍𝐻𝐈𝐿. Here, information about almost every relic and discovery ever recovered from the abyss is stored. Even after searching, they can't find anything like Reg. "You might just be the first one of your kind." Hearing this, Riko gets scared because she thinks that if people find out about Reg, they might take him away for research, or the world might see Reg as a threat and try to kill him. Everyone comes together and makes a plan. The plan is to introduce Reg into the orphanage as a normal orphan so that nobody suspects anything. The next day, Reg officially knocks on the door of the orphanage and meets Zero. Zero opens the door and looks at Reg. "Kid, who are you? Where did you come from?" Zero asks him a bunch of questions, but Reg somehow manages to answer all of them. Zero doesn't suspect a thing, and Reg is accepted into the orphanage, becoming a part of it. Reg also starts his training to become a cave raider, and he's given the lowest rank, the bell whistle. All these raiders are given whistles based on their level, but Reg notices notices that the other kids go into the abyss every day, while he can't go down himself yet since he doesn't have a red whistle to enter the abyss. One day, Riko and Reg are standing near the entrance of the abyss. A big crowd is gathered here because some cave raiders are coming back up after exploring the abyss. Riko spots a man named 𝐍𝐓𝐈𝐒𝐄𝐈𝐒𝐄. He and his whole team have just returned from the second layer of the abyss. Just then, 𝐍𝐍𝐈𝐒𝐄𝐈𝐒𝐄 hands over a white whistle and some sealed documents to an officer. The crowd's attention turns to this white whistle. Hey, that's a white whistle. You're right about that. That belongs to Lyza. It's just a whistle. What's such a big deal about it? And Riko explains that Lyza is her mom's name. Lyza is one of those legendary white whistles who's respected throughout the entire village. Sometime later, the whole town is celebrating a festival for the return of Lyza's white whistle. Riko is sitting there looking at this very whistle. The day before, when 𝐍𝐍𝐈𝐒𝐄 had given her the whistle, she'd refused to take it, saying, "This is a white whistle. It's incredibly valuable. I can't keep this." But after 𝐍𝐍𝐈𝐒𝐄 convinces her, Riko keeps it. And during this, 𝐍𝐍𝐈𝐒𝐄 tells her that a document written by Lyza was also found and that he'd show it to her in 2 days. The whole town is in the middle of the festival, but Riko is sitting here all alone. Just then, 𝐍𝐻 comes over to her. "There's nothing physically wrong with your eyesight. It's because of the curse of the abyss. When your mom went on an expedition to the 4th layer of the abyss, you were pregnant with her. That expedition lasted a full 10 months, and you were born during that very journey. The situation had gotten extremely dire, and it was thought to be impossible for you to survive. That's why Lyza used a rare relic called the curse-repelling vessel, and with the help of that relic, she managed to bring you safely down to the ground. If Lyza had wanted to, she could have sold that relic and never needed to set foot in the abyss for the rest of her life, leaving you behind. But she valued you more than the relic. To Lyza, you mattered more than anything."
Hearing all this makes Riko happy, and now there's just one thought running through her mind. One day, I'm going to become just like my mom. That very night, Riko gets permission to look through all the documents 𝐍𝐍𝐈𝐒𝐄 had recovered from the second layer, the ones that belong to her mom. Inside the documents, there are drawings of all kinds of new creatures found deep within the abyss. But then Riko's eyes fall on one particular drawing, and she's stunned by what she sees. This is Reg. The drawing shows a human-like figure that looks a whole lot like Reg, and then her eyes land on a piece of paper. Written on it, "I'll be waiting deep in the abyss. I have to find my mom. I need to go down to the bottom of the abyss too. I have to find her." Riko talks to her friends about this and tells everyone that she and Reg are leaving before dawn. 𝐷𝐿𝐻𝐈 decides to help them out. He steals a map of the abyss from the director's office, one that has information on all the layers discovered so far, and starts explaining each layer to Riko and Reg. There are 6 layers in total, and anyone who goes beyond the 6th layer has never come back. 𝐷𝐿𝐻𝐈 explains that only Black Whistle cave raiders are allowed to go down to the 4th and 5th layers. Very few cave raiders ever make it to the 6th layer. I think Mom must be on the 6th layer. I have to find her. Hearing this gets Riko even more excited, but he tells her again, "You've lost it, Riko. Even if you go down there, you'll never be able to come back up. Even the most experienced cave raiders couldn't make it back. Isn't it possible your mom has already been dead for 10 years? That's probably why she never came back up. Honestly, surviving at the bottom of the abyss for this long is almost impossible. You should give up all hope." Hearing this, tears well up in Riko's eyes, and without saying a word, she walks away crying. At midnight, Riko quietly starts to leave the orphanage. Meanwhile, Reg wants to say goodbye to his friends. He heads towards his room to say a final farewell, but he's asleep. Just as he's stepping outside the orphanage though, 𝐍𝐻 spots him. "Where are you headed, kid?" He thinks, "I've been caught." But surprisingly, 𝐍𝐻 doesn't stop him. "Take care of Riko, kid." 𝐍𝐻 had already figured out everything they were planning to do, which is why he lets him go. Thank you. Sometime later, Riko, Reg, and 𝐷𝐿𝐻𝐈 all meet up at one spot, where he is also waiting for them. Having changed his attitude, he apologizes to Riko. "Riko, forgive me. I said way too much. Your mom is probably alive. You'll see. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Thank you." He and 𝐷𝐿𝐻𝐈 lead them to a spot with no guards so they can slip into the abyss unnoticed. Now it's time for the 4 of them to say goodbyes. Riko tells him, "I don't know if we'll ever see each other again, but we'll always keep you in our hearts. Please, don't cry. We'll be back soon. I'm going to miss you so much." "Riko, please come back soon." Net and 𝐷𝐿𝐻𝐈's eyes well up with tears. Riko and Reg head into the abyss. Reg grabs hold of Riko, and using his extendable arms, they start descending quickly. After some time, they regain consciousness down inside the abyss. Riko sees that Reg had used his extendable arms to set up a protective barrier around them to keep them safe. "Hey, wake up. We've made it down." "Oh right, we're down here. Good morning, Riko." Both of them get up and start exploring the 1st layer. Riko explains that this place is called the edge of the abyss, and right now they're at a depth of 600 meters below the surface. After a while, they start getting hungry. They catch some fish, and Riko cooks them up nicely. Reg finds them absolutely delicious, and then they start preparing for the rest of their journey. Riko shows Reg a compass. This compass is very important to her, but Reg notices that the compass needle isn't moving at all. What's this? No matter how much you shake it, it just won't move. While shaking the compass, it slips out of her hand and gets swept away down a waterfall. Oh no, I lost my compass. Dang it! Just then, Reg shows her a letter. Someone had slipped it into his bag before they left the orphanage. Inside, they find copies of all of Lyza's drawings, along with a lot of important information about the Abyss. Among all these documents is a note as well, written by Zero. If the two of you aren't back before sunrise, I'll come find you, drag you back, and lock you inside the orphanage for good. Reading this, Riko realizes they don't have much time left. Reg, we need to get to the second layer as fast as we can, because white whistles who go missing below the second layer, people assume they're dead and call off the search for them. They start heading down, but while descending, they run into a dangerous spider-like creature called 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐋𝐀𝐈𝐿. They accidentally wander into its territory. This spider is enormous and dangerous. Reg confronts it. Reg, these 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐿𝐿𝐿 never leave their territory. We can use its webs to climb down from here. Both of them use the webs to descend and somehow manage to shake it off, reaching the very end of the first layer, where the entrance to the second layer comes into view ahead of them. This layer is called the Forest of Temptation. Here, there are huge trees everywhere, thick greenery and strange sounds echoing all around. After walking for quite a while, the two of them stop to rest, but then Reg senses some strange movement coming from within the bushes. Reg feels like someone was there, and to chase whoever it was, the two of them quickly start moving downhill. Reg uses his extendable arms to move forward fast, but they soon realize that whoever was watching them is incredibly fast, faster than them, and that person suddenly appears right in front of them. Yep, guys, this is the very same person we spotted a little while ago. You two look like you came straight from the bottom of the abyss, practically a treasure. Actually, kids, Net and Shiggy asked me to help you two get safely down to the second layer, so here I am at your service. Hearing this, Reg feels a huge sense of relief, knowing they'll now easily be able to reach the second layer at least. But Riko turns Hobbled down, saying they want to complete this journey on their own, without anyone's help. She wants to do everything herself. Hobbled respects her wishes and doesn't push the matter. Before he leaves, he gives them some medicine and some steamed buns that will come in handy along the way. But before he goes, he gives them one final warning. Kids, listen to me carefully. There's a seeker camp inside the second layer. That's where Ozen lives, and Ozen is the very same white whistle who helped bring Lyza back up when you were born, Riko. But be careful around Ozen. Hobbled heads back, and the two of them say goodbye to him and continue their journey. A little while later, they officially arrive at the second layer. From this point on, no search party will be sent to look for them, and this is where their real journey truly begins. Moving through the Forest of Temptation, the two of them take in the greenery and fresh air around them. Riko tells Reg about the plants and trees here, explaining how this place can help with navigation. Just then, they suddenly hear someone calling for help. They head toward the sound and arrive at an open clearing where an injured cave raider is lying on the ground with a large hyena-like creature sitting on top of him. Reg gets ready to attack it to save the raider's life, but Riko stops him. Wait, that's a hollow screamer. These creatures mimic the voices of people who are already dead. They use their prey's own voice to lure others into their territory, and anyone who comes to help ends up becoming their prey too. That voice came from the creature itself. He's already dead, Reg. There's nothing we can do. Now, just then, a second hollow screamer suddenly appears and snatches Riko up into the air. Seeing this, Reg panics badly as the creature carries Riko off toward its nest to feed her to its young. More hollow screamers show up and attack Reg all at once. Reg panics and out of desperation activates the powerful cannon built into his arm. This unleashes an incredibly dangerous energy blast that injures several of the hollow screamers. And not just that, a huge area around them gets destroyed by the sheer force of the attack. Meanwhile, Riko, now unconscious, starts falling. Reg rushes to her, catching her just before she hits the ground and carries her to safety. The hollow screamer hadn't even carried her that high up, but even so, the curse of the abyss takes its toll on her condition. A little while later, she regains consciousness and asks Reg about his cannon,
cannon, saying, "Did you cause all this destruction? How powerful even was that attack?" Riko decides to name this attack the Incinerator. "I only used it because I had no choice. It was pure luck that the blast didn't accidentally hit you, Riko. Next time, I'll have to use it much more carefully, or you could get hurt too." But from the strain of using it, Reg passes out from exhaustion and collapses to the ground. While unconscious, Reg has a nightmare where the hollow screamers are devouring Riko. He panics and wakes up quickly. "Oh, you're awake. Don't worry, you can learn to control this power. There's no need to be so scared." Riko cooks up the hollow screamer meat on some stone slabs. Riko eats some of it, and Riko says that the very creatures who eat humans have now become tandoori chicken themselves, adding that this is just how life works in the abyss. Here, every creature ends up as prey for something else, and that's simply nature's food cycle. After resting for a while, the two of them set off again on their journey, but this time, the path ahead is going to be even tougher than before. Reg uses his arms to carry Riko as they move forward. The two of them gradually head deeper into the forest, and eventually arrive in an area where trees are growing upside down all around them. Riko explains that this place is called the inverted forest. After a while, strong winds start blowing, making it hard for Reg to control his arms properly. The two of them carefully push forward, but suddenly a pack of red-eyed monkeys spot them and charges to attack. Using his arms, Reg leaps from tree to tree, fleeing with Riko to save both their lives. After a long chase, the monkeys finally give up and stop pursuing them. A little while later, Riko and Reg arrive at the seeker camp built at the far end of the second layer. But just as Reg tries to climb up using his arms, someone suddenly grabs his hands mid-air. Reg looks up and sees a woman standing in front of him. This is Ozen, the very person Hobbled had told them about. Just then, a large bridge is lowered from above, and using it, Riko and Reg make their way inside the seeker camp. But having come this deep, Riko's condition worsens badly and she starts throwing up. Ozen takes them inside with her. Ozen starts talking to Riko about her mom, Lyza, telling her that Lyza wasn't just an incredible cave raider, she was also a very close companion of hers. Hearing this makes Riko happy. Ozen looks at Riko and Reg's whistles and says, "You two are still just red whistles. You're still too green. You'll need a lot more experience." Ozen tells them to rest and says she's very busy today and that she'll hear the rest of their story tomorrow. Ozen leaves. After she's gone, a boy comes in and introduces himself saying, "My name is Marla." Yes guys, this is a boy, even though he's dressed in girl's clothing. "Hello, my name is Marla, and from today, I'll be your caretaker." Ozen tells Marla to take care of them for now, but to give them blue whistles. Ozen hands them blue whistles and explains that if people see them on the second layer still wearing red whistles, it could cause them trouble. Ozen also keeps Riko's white whistle with her, saying it'll stay with her for as long as she's at the camp. Marla gives them a full tour of the camp and shows them a massive tree hollow on the inside, within which the entire seeker camp has been built. After showing them around, Marluk cooks food for them and Riko goes off to bathe. While eating, Marluk asks them, "Why don't you stay here a few more days? Stick around a little longer, and the three of us can explore the abyss properly together. We could go together. You'll come, right?" Hearing this, Riko feels good about the idea, but turns him down. "I'd like to, but I have to get all the way to the very bottom of the abyss to find my mom." After a while, Riko wakes up and steps outside to find a washroom. On the way, she spots a strange creature slowly approaching her. Riko panics and hurries back to her room to sleep, unable to make sense of what she just saw. She gets so scared that she wets the bed, and the next day tells the two of them, "I saw a huge creature. It didn't even have a head." But neither of them believes her. Just then, Ozen arrives and takes the two of them into a room. On the way, Ozen tells Riko, "Your mom's white whistle has already made it back up to the surface. That means your mom likely didn't survive, sweetheart. You should let go of your dream of finding her." But Riko refuses to accept this, insisting, "No, she's alive," and shows her the same letter they'd found on the second layer. "Look at this. I have complete faith in her. She's alive." Ozen then reveals that she herself had recovered this letter and white whistle from a grave built on the fourth layer. And not only that, the handwriting on this letter isn't even Lyza's. Hearing this, Riko's heart shatters. A little while later, the three of them arrive in Ozen's private chamber. Right in the middle of the room sits the very same curse-repelling vessel that Riko herself was once placed inside, right after she was born. The same relic that had been used to bring her safely up to the surface. Ozen uses her whistle and activates the relic, explaining to Riko that it's called the curse-repelling weapon. People believe that any creature or human placed inside this weapon is spared from the curse of the abyss and doesn't die, but the real truth is something else entirely. In reality,
reality, whatever creature or person is placed inside this weapon doesn't actually survive. They do die. They simply come back to life afterward. Looking at Riko, Ozen tells her that when Riko was born, she was already dead. But the moment she was placed inside this vessel, she came back to life. In other words, it was this very relic that gave her a second chance at life, and that strange creature Riko saw last night wasn't actually a monster at all. It was simply my dinner. Riko and Reg are stunned, wondering what on earth she's talking about. I'd placed that meat inside this same vessel too. That's why it came back to life for a little while, but after 6 hours, it died again. Ozen tells Riko, "You're exactly like that meat." Hearing Ozen's words makes Reg furious. "That's enough. Don't you dare say another word. Back off." Reg lunges at Ozen and attacks her, but Ozen doesn't budge an inch, and in the very next moment grabs Reg and slams him against the wall and the floor with such force that he's left in bad shape. Riko rushes forward to help Reg, but Ozen gives just a light flick, and Riko too goes flying, falls, blood starting to trickle from her mouth. This makes Reg even angrier, and he activates his incinerator, but Ozen grabs his arm and twists it in another direction, causing the cannon's aim to shift directly toward Riko. Reg panics. "No!" And in the very last second, Reg puts everything he has into deflecting the direction of the blast, and instead of hitting Riko, the energy blast strikes a large tree nearby. Seeing this impresses Ozen, but with her sheer strength, she badly injures Reg anyway. Reg passes out, and when he opens his eyes, he finds himself at the secret base of the subterranean bandits. Riko is there too, and it turns out 𝐅𝐿𝐼 had brought both of them there. Ozen explains, "Don't worry, that was all just a test. I simply needed to see how long the two of you could survive inside the abyss. Reg, you're quite strong, but both of you are still far too weak. You won't be able to survive any deeper into the abyss. You need serious training, or the two of you will both end up dead." But it turns out the grave from which Lyza's white whistle and everything else had been recovered was actually empty. Hearing this, hope rekindles in Riko's heart once more. Maybe her mom really is alive. Before leaving, Ozen gives Riko and Reg a new task as a test, telling them they'll need to survive on their own for the next 10 days in the outer area of the abyss. But Ozen warns Reg, only use the incinerator when you have absolutely no other option left, because every time you fire it, you end up unconscious for 2 hours, and if that happens in a dangerous situation, you could easily get killed. As soon as she leaves, Riko and Reg begin their training. For the next 10 days, they'll have to survive entirely on their own inside the abyss without anyone's help. They come across some aquatic creatures called runas. Wherever runas are found, fresh drinking water is usually nearby too, and sure enough, they do find fresh water there. The two of them set up a small camp right at that spot, but a dangerous creature called an 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐿𝐒 lives in the same area.
This creature suddenly attacks Riko, and she nearly doesn't make it out, but Reg somehow manages to save her life, and the two of them realize that staying near this pond isn't safe at all, so they decide to move somewhere else. To set up camp, they light a fire so they can get through the night comfortably, while from a distance, Ozen and the subterranean bandits keep watch over them. They come to realize that if they want to survive any deeper in the abyss, they'll absolutely have to learn how to deal with creatures like the 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐂𝐿𝐒 too. Around this time, Ozen finds herself thinking of Lyza too. She was the one who trained Lyza back when she was young, and she remembers the very moment Riko was born. Slowly, the days pass by, but every single day, Riko and Reg learn something new, and finally, all 10 days pass, and the two of them complete their survival training and return to the secret camp. Everyone has dinner together, and while eating, Ozen shares an important piece of information about the abyss. The deeper you go, the more the flow of time itself changes. By your reckoning, it's been 10 years since your mom disappeared, but because time passes differently within each layer, it's entirely possible that for Lyza, only a few years have gone by. Hearing this fills Riko's heart with even greater hope of reuniting with her mother. But remember one thing, Riko, once you reach the 5th layer, don't linger there too long and stay well away from Bondru. That day, Ozen also asks Riko about that piece of paper with Lyza's message written on it, and explains that the very paper the message is written on is itself a relic. But before they leave, Ozen gives Riko one of Lyza's special relics, the Blaze Wreath, Lyza's massive axe, which had been found near the fake grave on the 4th layer. It's not as strong as it once was. If you use it too much, it could break, so use it carefully. Only rely on it if your incinerator ever fails to work, as a backup. The deeper you go, the stronger you'll both need to become. If you don't, you'll be killed. A little while later, 𝐅𝐿𝐼𝐒𝐿𝐒, the subterranean bandits, and Ozen come to see Riko and Reg off. Reg and Riko thank them all, smile and say their goodbyes. Ozen watches them leave, and looking at Riko, she can't help but think of Lyza again, remembering a promise she'd made to Lyza long ago that when the right time came, she would help Riko. Riko and Reg continue their journey and soon arrive at the Great Fault. Reg is stunned at the sight before him. An enormous chasm stretches out ahead of them. Riko explains that the Great Fault is made up of countless interconnected caves, and cave raiders use these very caves to descend so they can avoid the dangerous flying creatures above. Reg uses his arms, carefully holding on to Riko, and slowly begins descending. After a while, they arrive at a cave where a massive shipwreck is lodged within the wall. We might find some relics here. Let's go take a look. She heads into the ship in search of relics, but then they realize the ship is actually the nest of a dangerous creature. In the very next moment, the creature attacks them. Reg pulls out his incinerator. Riko, get back! But just as Reg fires the incinerator, the creature is killed instantly. However, the sound of this powerful blast echoes far and wide, and because of it, the very same crimson Splitjaw from the beginning of this story picks up their trail once again. Within moments, the two of them find themselves in serious trouble. The path ahead is blocked, and behind them, the crimson Splitjaw is closing in to kill them, but it gets stuck in a narrow tunnel. Because of using the cannon, Reg could pass out at any moment, but he still keeps trying to protect Riko until the very last second. Eventually, the two of them tumble into a nearby cave and somehow manage to escape. Shortly after, Reg passes out. Riko starts feeling hungry, so she sets off with Reg in tow, searching for food. As she walks, she suddenly catches a strangely sweet scent in the air. Riko follows the smell, and in the very next moment, a bizarre creature swallows her whole. Riko finds herself trapped inside this creature called an 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐄𝐋𝐀, which is essentially a giant stomach-like creature. Riko panics, realizing she'll be digested if she doesn't act fast. She quickly pulls out her weapon and starts cutting her way out from inside the creature, eventually breaking free from the stomach. But the sweet scent from the 𝐃𝐈𝐒𝐄𝐋𝐀's stomach lingers on her body, and this draws a swarm of small rats native to this lair, who all rush at her at once. Riko barely manages to escape with her life. As she runs, she comes across a cave with a path leading upward, but the moment she starts climbing, the curse of the third layer kicks in. As soon as she starts up the stairs, she gets dizzy, starts vomiting, and begins hallucinating. She starts seeing all her friends from the orphanage, Marluk, Shiggy, and even her mom, Lyza. She can't tell what's real and what's an illusion anymore. She sees everyone around her, but Reg is nowhere to be seen, and she snaps out of the hallucination. Reg has actually been on her shoulder the whole time, but because of the hallucinations, she hadn't even realized it. Riko keeps climbing rapidly. Just then, the crimson Splitjaw catches up to them. Reg tries to fight it off, and this time uses the blaze reap given to him by Ozen, landing a devastating blow. The Splitjaw flees. After that, the two of them set up camp in a cave below, from where they can see the fourth lair, known as the Goblet of Giants. After resting for a while, Riko and Reg begin descending towards the fourth lair. As soon as they arrive, they see that this place is completely unlike anything they imagined. All around them are massive bowl-like structures filled with hot water. The atmosphere here is extremely humid, and hot water is constantly flowing through all these bowl-shaped basins. Carefully taking everything in, the two of them continue forward. A thick fog covers everything. Then Reg spots the shadow of something enormous through the fog, and as the fog clears, an enormous joint-like creature stands before them. Riko is terrified the moment she sees it. Reg, we need to run. That's an orb piercer, an extremely dangerous territorial creature. Its spikes are razor sharp, capable of piercing straight through steel, and they carry a deadly poison too. Hearing this, Reg panics as well, and without wasting a second, grabs Riko and starts running. But the orb piercer easily catches up to them and drives one of its spikes straight into their bag. The impact sends the blaze reap flying far away from them. Reg pulls out an umbrella relic and uses it to try to shield them from the orb piercer's spikes. But the creature's spikes are so powerful that they pierce right through the umbrella. Reg realizes that if they're going to survive this, they absolutely need to get the blaze reap back. But when he glances toward Riko, he's horrified to see that one of the orb piercer's spikes has already pierced straight through her arm, and the poison from it is beginning to spread through her body. Now, Reg has only one option left to save her. He starts climbing upward, carrying her, trying to reach somewhere safe. But as he climbs higher, away from the orb piercer, the curse of the abyss begins taking an even worse toll on
on Riko. Blood starts pouring heavily from her wound, and the poison makes her condition deteriorate even further. Her arm swells up like a balloon filled with poison. Writhing in pain, Riko tells Reg that if they want to stop the poison from spreading, he'll have to cut off her arm. But Reg refuses. "No, Riko, I can't cut off your arm." Blood starts pouring from Riko's eyes, but out of sheer desperation to save her life, he forces himself to break her arm to make it easier to cut through. But just as he raises the knife to cut it off, his hands start shaking uncontrollably. He knows her arm has swollen terribly from the poison, and if he doesn't cut it off soon, the poison will spread through her entire body and she'll die. Reg keeps trying to gather the courage to cut it off, but he just can't bring himself to swing the knife. Suddenly, Riko stops breathing. Just then, a strange rabbit-like creature appears and tells him to give her CPR. Reg listens closely and follows its instructions, performing CPR on Riko, and it works. Riko's breathing starts up again, but as soon as she's a little more stable, Reg picks her up and carries her to this rabbit-like creature's hideout. Along the way, Reg worries that climbing up higher might trigger the curse of the abyss on Riko again, making her condition even worse. But the creature tells him that the curse has no effect inside her hideout. Without wasting any time, Nanchi immediately starts treating Riko. While treating her, it turns out that Nanchi had actually been secretly watching them ever since they'd entered the Goblet of Giants, this lair, and had been listening in on everything they said. Nanchi applies medicine, operates on Riko's arm, and stitches up her wound. Just then, Reg hears a voice coming from a nearby room, and when he asks about it, Nanchi explains that it's her roommate. A little while later, she introduces Reg to them. This creature's name is Mitsu, and Mitsu is also a hollow. Reg has never heard of hollows, so he asks what exactly a hollow is. Nanchi explains that when a human tries to come up from above the 6th layer, they either die instantly or lose their humanity and turn into a hollow, exactly like her roommate Mitsu. But I myself am a very rare exception, which is why I didn't end up like the others. Nanchi sends Reg out to gather some things, some needed for Riko's treatment and the rest for her own dinner. Reg heads out to find everything. First, he catches a demon fish. He also brings back some black eggs, climbs a tree to gather some yellow grass, and catches a strange hamster-like creature with purple mushrooms growing on it. After a lot of effort, Reg brings everything back to the hideout. Nanchi immediately starts treatment, applying these parasitic purple water mushrooms to Riko's arm to draw out all the poison that had built up inside so the wound doesn't rot. "Hey, what was all that rest of that stuff for?" "Oh, that was actually for my dinner. If I'd taken even a little longer, Riko could have died just because of your dinner. You're crazy." Nanchi calms him down, saying, "Well, at least she didn't die, right?" She sends Reg to the river with Riko's clothes to wash them. Reg steps out of the hideout carrying Riko's clothes, and on the way passes through a beautiful spot called the Eternal Fortune. The view is absolutely stunning. Just then, Reg remembers standing in front of a large rock with the blaze reap resting on top of it. Lyza is standing in front of him, and Reg says, "All right, I'll be going now." This turns out to be a flashback, and it really seems like there's some kind of connection between Reg and Lyza. Meanwhile, back at the hideout,
Riko is still unconscious. Mitsu slowly approaches her and climbs on top of her. For a moment, it looks like Mitsu might be hurting Riko, but Nanchi explains that Mitsu is completely harmless. It seems Mitsu has grown so attached to Riko simply because they're the same age, 12 years old. Yes, guys, this creature used to be a girl, but has since turned into a hollow. Even so, her mental development is still stuck at that of a 12-year-old girl. After this, Nanchi gives Reg a strange black soup to drink. Reg hesitates at first, but eventually musters the courage to drink it anyway. After eating, Reg and Nanchi talk about relics. Tomorrow, I'll show you a relic that will help you understand the real secret behind the curse of the abyss. The next morning, Nanchi takes him to show him the relic she'd mentioned. This thin cloth-like relic is called the Force Wave. She explains that the curse isn't equal everywhere. When a person climbs up past a layer, the curse only affects their body once, and there's a kind of invisible force field spread throughout the abyss, with every living thing existing within this same force field. The farther any person or animal is from the center of the abyss, the weaker the curse's effect becomes, which is exactly why her hideout is so safe, since the curse doesn't work here at all. Nanchi also shares an important fact about the orb piercer. It can anticipate its enemy's movements in advance, because it's able to actually see this force field. But ever since becoming a hollow, I can see this force field too, which is why she decides to train Reg a little, so he can also understand how an orb piercer attacks. During the training, Reg
suddenly hears someone screaming for help. A black whistle cave raider is being attacked by an orb piercer. Without thinking twice, Reg rushes to help. Nanchi guides him through a portable earpiece, telling him how to dodge the orb piercer's attacks and how to strike back. Reg listens closely to every instruction and at just the right moment fires his incinerator. The attack wounds the orb piercer badly and it flees with its tail between its legs, saving the black whistle raider's life. Reg makes a request to the raider. If you manage to make it back up to the surface, please let Zero know that Riko and Reg have made a lot of progress on their journey and that we're both completely safe. All right, kid, if I make it up safely, I'll pass that along. Reg heads back to the hideout and thanks Nanchi, since it was her training that had allowed him to hold his own against the orb piercer. But after seeing Reg's incinerator, Nanchi asks him, "Could you please do something for me?" "Sure, why not? Whatever you ask, I'll do it." Nanchi quietly says, "Please kill Mitsu. Please set her free." Hearing this stuns Reg completely, but right then, his eyes start growing heavy from having used the incinerator, and he slowly starts losing consciousness. Nanchi starts dragging him away. A long time ago, Nanchi was used to be an ordinary human, living in the slums of a very poor country. One day, along with a bunch of other poor children, they notice all the kids heading outside. Nanchi follows them, and they find a white whistle standing in front of them. This man introduces himself as Bondrewd. Bondrewd tells all the children that if any of them are brave enough and want to face the abyss, they can come along with him on his next expedition. All the children agree to go, and Nanchi agrees too. During the journey, Nanchi meets Mitsu, who used to be human as well, and the two of them quickly become close friends. Mitsu tells her that her dream is to one day become a white whistle cave raider. Nanchi smiles and says, "Whatever happens now, it's bound to be better than before." Soon after, the three of them arrive at Front, built on the 5th layer. All the children are warned not to try climbing more than 10 meters upward, or the curse of the abyss will start taking effect. One by one, Bondrewd starts calling the children over to him, and eventually, only Nanchi and Mitsu are left. One night, Bondrewd comes into their room and tells Mitsu to come with him.
Nanchi secretly follows behind and overhears Bondrewd talking. He's telling his men that what he's doing with these experiments isn't a violation of human rights, and that they shouldn't worry about it. Hearing this terrifies Nanchi. What kind of experiments is this man even running? She grows worried about Miti and all the other children. Searching around, she finds Miti locked inside a large container. Before Nanchi can process what's happening, Bondrewd appears right behind her. Now it's Nanachi's turn. She too is locked into a container right next to Miti's. Bondrewd explains to both of them that these containers are actually elevators that can descend all the way to the 6th layer. The 6th layer is a perfect place for research girls, because that's where the curse of ascent affects the human body the most. Anyone who tries to climb up from the 6th layer either dies or loses their humanity forever. The elevators begin their descent, and the most terrifying journey of their lives begins. Before long, the elevator reaches the 6th layer. The moment they step out, both of them are gripped with fear, having no idea what Bondrewd is planning to do to them. The elevator starts making its way back up, and as the two of them rise above the 6th layer, the curse of ascent begins to take hold. Nanchi slowly starts transforming into her hollow form. Miti transforms into this creature. Watching all this completely breaks Nanchi. When the two of them come back up, Bondrewd is thrilled looking at the results of his experiment. Well, this time the curse mostly affected Miti. Seems like she deliberately took the entire curse upon herself, which is why the other girl survived. He explains that Miti can no longer die. Her regenerative powers have become so extreme that death is simply no longer possible. Back in the present, Nanchi finishes telling Reg this whole story. Because of Bondrewd's experiments, Miti became immortal. After escaping Front, I tried everything I could to kill Miti and set her free, but every single time her regenerative powers brought her back. That's why she's been suffering, trapped in that horrifying form all this time. Reg realizes this is exactly why Nanchi had asked Reg to kill Miti. Night falls. Nanchi tells Miti a story, and as she listens, Miti slowly drifts off to sleep. The next morning, Nanchi asks Reg again, "Please, kill Miti. She's suffering in that body." Reg agrees, though he's deeply troubled and doesn't really want to do it. Nanchi carries Miti to a quiet spot and places all her toys around her. Reg prepares to fire his incinerator, but Nanchi
Nanchi stops him for a moment. "Wait, Reg." Nanchi embraces Miti one last time. "Forgive me, Miti. You meant so much to me. I'll miss you so much." Nanchi slowly steps back. Reg starts crying too, and steeling himself fires the incinerator, ending Miti's life instantly so she doesn't have to suffer any more pain. With her passing, all her suffering finally comes to an end. Nanchi breaks down sobbing. Because of using the incinerator again, Reg passes out and collapses to the ground. While unconscious, he has a dream. Lyza is standing in front of him offering him food. But when he opens his eyes, he finds that Riko has woken up and is cooking with Nanchi. Everyone sits down for breakfast together, and Nanchi absolutely loves the food Riko has made. While eating, Riko suddenly remembers Miti. "Hey, where did Miti go? Nanchi, where's your roommate?" Hearing this, Nanchi falls silent for a moment. "How do you know about Miti?" "Well, while I was unconscious, I had a scary dream. In the dream, I could feel someone's presence. I could hear a girl crying, asking for my help. But then suddenly, it felt like her soul had finally been set free. That's when I woke up." The next day, Nanchi takes Riko to a hot spring, explaining that the warm water will help her body recover much faster. Reg joins them in the hot spring too. Nanchi removes the parasitic mushrooms from Riko's arm. Seeing her arm, Reg feels guilty and apologizes to Riko. "I'm sorry, Riko. All of this happened because of me." But Riko takes his hand and says, "Everything you did, Reg, you did to save my life. Thank you." Before long, Riko's arm heals completely. Riko asks Nanchi to come along with them to help find Lyza. Nanchi thinks it over and agrees to join them. Before leaving the hideout, the three of them gather everything they'll need for the next leg of their journey and send a balloon up toward the surface, hoping it'll make it all the way up. Sure enough, before long, the balloon reaches the surface and is found by Net and Shiggy, who see the message and realize that Riko and Reg are perfectly safe. Meanwhile, in Ito Front, on the 5th layer, Bondrewd is watching Miti and Nanchi's life signals on a monitor. Miti's life signal suddenly cuts out for good, and he realizes Nanchi has set Miti free. He suspects that Nanchi might now be coming after him for revenge. And now, Riko, Reg, and Nanchi continue their journey onward.